Good morning. I just got back from about a 15 mile bike ride, and I have learned, so in the last year what's happened is I recovered from something called transient osteoporosis, which meant the head of my femur was losing density really quickly. It was super painful. It took about 7 months to recover. There was no treatment, just getting non-weight bearing and time. And so that healed, and then I jumped back into teaching my fitness classes. I tried to get on the bike, and as a result, last July, just about a year ago, ended up herniated a disc, L2, which again put me into kind of a cycle of pain. And so this year has been a year of recovery, a year of practiced patience, a year of trying to find out what works. And so I'm back on my bike. So this morning I rode about 15 miles, but I have learned that after I bike or do any type of intense exercise, and I got my beautiful bike cycling socks on, you get me, post ride, helmet hair, and all of the good things. But what I've learned is that I have to warm up, like mobility, before I get on the bike. Like I just have to get moving, and then after I get off, it's time to stretch. So I'm just gonna walk you guys through. This is what I do. Pretty simple. And what I'm thinking about is releasing my back, giving my back some love. My piriformis, which gets super tight, hip flexors, and of course shoulders. So when I'm down here, I just want to feel my back kind of relax. And I start off really easy, which is what I usually do for mobility. I just want to be kind and gentle with my body. I don't really want to push it right now. I will do some stretches. And I usually do about 20 reps, and I've lost count. And then I go into a figure four. It looks great on screen. Legs are wide, and then you're gonna turn. And this one is great for getting that hip flexor, right? So you want this long line from your hip all the way down to your knee. My inner thighs are sore right now. My butt's sore, everything's sore because I taught bar yesterday, which I don't do very frequently. So this one, 90-90s, really get that rotation through your hips, and also starts lengthening out your hip flexor. All of those things get super tight for a lot of motions, but especially with cycling, because it's a repetitive motion, you don't change position. And then bring it up here. Whew. And I'm gonna start off easy, just with a couple rotations. Like I said, I wanna be nice. I gotta be kind to my back. I don't wanna fire it up. Couple rotations of this, and then bring this up and gently grab behind. Now you're gonna go to whatever feels good for you, right? So if you're feeling really loosey-goosey, but just gently press it in, maybe hold for a moment. Inhale, exhale, and bring that stretch in a little bit deeper, trying to keep your spine long on the mat. So I don't want my tailbone raising up. For me personally, I get this stretch through my inner thigh and through the back of my body, into my piriformis and glutes. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take it on the other side. I think over the last year, what I've really learned through physical therapy and just through trial and error is it's flexibility, because people say, oh, you gotta stretch. So flexibility is part of the equation, but I really think that what you're looking for is mobility, right? Can you move easily? Can you get up and down off the floor? Is your body, can you maintain and increase your range of motion throughout the day? So what you're doing when you exercise, inhale, exhale, and pull. So what you're doing when you exercise is maybe like, let's say you do a class and it's 60 minutes, or you go out for a bike ride and it's 15 miles. Well, that's only part of my day. There's the whole other part of my day where I have to get up and down the stairs. I have to pick things up off the floor. I have to make sure my balance is strong. So same thing here. So I would say that thinking about not just what you do when you exercise, but thinking about what you do throughout the day is the real win, because that's quality of life. So now I'm going to take those 90-90s here. So I've got 90-degree angle or 90-degree angle here. I'm going to rise up and really stretch here. And then come back down. Ooh, and release that back just a little bit. Now I go super easy because I know my back is a point of vulnerability. Then I'm going to try, this is mobility, is change to the other side. Rise up. So this is what I'm talking about, is flexibility is one thing, but how can you move throughout the day? Can you get off the floor without thinking about it? And getting that mobility through your hips. So if you can, try those 90-90s. Maybe laying down, try them seated, and then try them without hands. And we're gonna do 4 sets of these. We're on number 3. And up, and down, and one more. And rise up, and down, and a little stretch. Woo, and one more. And up, and down, and stretch. Finally, the last thing I'm gonna think about right now is my upper body. So when I'm doing cycling, right, I'm kind of in this fixed position, and I've been thinking a lot about my lower back, but you also wanna think about what's called your thoracic spine, the middle of your back. So you could do this with a chair, you could do this on a bench, but basically just get here, right? And then I'm just gonna I'm gonna bend my knees because I wanna take the pressure off my hamstrings and just let that sink down, right? So we wanna think about this upper back also needs mobility so that you can function throughout the day. And if your triceps are sore, you can give a little stretch here. Whatever works for you. So I encourage you to think about mobility, think about flexibility, and make sure you add the time in. So if you're doing strenuous exercise, make sure, especially at the end when your body's all warmed up, that's a great time to stretch and not overstretch, is make sure you add that in to your routine. And now I'm gonna go transform, get cleaned up, and you guys have an amazing day.